Good evening, one and all. It's the effect of COVID-19 on the family. Today's topic is insecurity. So take this time to like, share, and invite your family and friends to join in on the discussion.
Me a the close cat, show up in front your door like me a the postman. Picture do need no filter, they on Instagram. Girl, your body natural every time you post one. You was far from my heart, now you are the close one. Girl, it just goes to show that you are the chosen. Girl, you make me want sing Sister Nancy song. When you move your waistline, me say what a bam bam. And me don't care what they say. Give me a bad girl with a little attitude any day.
Hey, it's a girl Chica G. And Bunting TV is where we bring the vibes.
Bunting TV is about merging online lives with basic unconventional raw nutrition services, giving you that TV effect while streaming live.
Yes, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the effects of COVID-19 on the family. And today's topic is insecurities. So take this time to like, share, and invite your family, friends, everyone to the live, right? We're going to have a very nice discussion this evening. Yeah. So hope to hear from everyone.
Keep we good energy so we stay far from them. You see a fake friend, oh no. We don't mix up with them, oh no. We don't friend up with them and say, oh no. We don't mix up with them, oh no. Tell them. For them must find up in front of face, but them no like ya.
So yes, so we're gonna get into the discussion very shortly, where we talk about insecurity. Right, so what is insecurity? That's the question. Yeah?
That's what we're giving, no enemy. No, we're not seeking, but some people like when you make it. So we don't power with them, we don't power with them.
I bring it, 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 bring the iron low. I bring it, 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 bring the iron. Hold it, hold it. Make some noise, jump around and make some noise. Hold it, hold it. Make some noise, jump around and make some noise. Nothing sweeter than hearing the sound of who I am.
This is Iggy Riri from Basic Unconventional Raw Nutrition, inviting you to Sweaty Soca Sunday with your girl Chica J.
You don't know.
Keep we good energy so we stay far from them. You see a fake friend, oh no. We don't mix up with them, oh no. We say, oh no, you don't mix up with them. Oh no, tell them. No for them must smile up in front of your face, for them no like ya. No for them no wanna see you do good, do why you drive car. No for them no wanna see when your future getting brighter. They thought they stop me fire from burning when them snatch me lighter. Your mother what? Good energy. That's what me living, real energy. That's what me giving, no enemy. No we not seeking, but some people like when you make it. So we don't power with them, we don't power with them.
So, good evening, good night to everyone. It is the effects of COVID-19 on the family. Yes, and today's topic is insecurity. Yes, so like up, share up, invite your family and friends to join in on the discussion. Yes. So good evening again to each and everyone. Yes, and it is the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint, and today's topic is insecurity. Yes, so what you can do now is invite your friends, invite your family, and if it is they have anything that they would like to share, you can feel free to share your experiences if it is you have ever experienced insecurities during this time, how are you feeling right now? Because we would have covered things such as emotional wellness and physical wellness and socialization. So we have many things that are affecting us during this pandemic. And one of the things now that is most present is the vaccination rollout where persons are being encouraged now to get vaccinated, right? So it's a new part of the COVID-19 pandemic and what it is we have to experience and go through. Yes? So we have Jazan on the inside. Good night to Jazan.
Good night.
Right, so Jazan, what time is it there right now?
10:30.
10:30. Right, so we have insecurities. So what is insecurity? What do you think insecurity is? Jazan, give us your view on what you think insecurity is.
Insecurity, it has different ways to be insecurity, right?
Mm-hmm.
A person being insecure. If you're at workplace, insecurity as well.
Right.
It have different things, yeah?
Yes. Rihanna, what about you? What do you say insecurity is?
I think insecurity is a lack of confidence and self-doubt.
All right. Yes. So definitely. So Jazan said two things. One, you could have insecurity on the job, and then insecurity in itself, where Rihanna would have said lack of confidence. So insecurity is where you are uncertain or anxious about yourself, right? So you're not certain, you're not confident, so you're lacking confidence, and then there's insecurity where you are open, you are unprotected, then you're open to threats around you, and that's where the job insecurity will come in, right? So you're not protected. Yes, so we experienced during this COVID pandemic, insecurity is about oneself and where it is you're actually open to threats, right? And one of the threats that we are open to, as we know, would be the COVID-19 virus itself, right? And a lot of persons now will feel that some may feel unprotected, some may feel very vulnerable during this time for many different reasons. One, we know that persons would have lost their jobs, persons may have had a reduction in their salary, and that would make them quite insecure too then in themselves now, because they are not sure how it is they are going to cope, whether it's financially, emotionally, how they are going to cope during this time, right? And then we have insecure. Some persons may have their job, but they are not sure if it is they are going to be retrenched right? So we see that, when business places were closed down, persons weren't sure that they were going to be back out there then. They weren't sure if it is they're going to have, they weren't sure if they're going to lose their job, if the place that they are working, establishment that they are working in is going to be closed down, right? So Verena is now joining us. So Verena, what is your view on insecurities? What would you say insecurities are?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Good
afternoon.
Um,
afternoon.
I would say insecurities are um, like some things that it's all in your mind. I would say it's all in
Mm-hmm.
your mind. So, for instance, somebody may be good at something that we say at your job, you might be good at a certain task, but you're feeling insecure, worried that you're not doing it properly. Or you may be
Yeah.
insecure about your self-image. So you may think, okay, I too fat because I have a little extra 5 pounds or whatever, and ev you should be this certain weight or this ideal weight according to whatever society portrays ideal weight to be. So, that's where insecurities come about.
Yes. Right.
So it's like a
So there
mental
are,
thing.
yes, insecurities is definitely something that does affect your mind and your emotional well-being. Because you'll come to where the discussion where it is, that someone is becoming insecure, and this is insecurity in themselves, right? So I mean, anyone can be insecure. It can be a child, it can be a teenager, it can be adult, it can be the elderly who is feeling quite insecure during this time for so many different reasons, right? All because of the pandemic. So Verena, hi Celeste, good afternoon. So we have Tobago on the inside. So we're gonna touch on job insecurity because that's one of the main things right now, right? Job insecurity. So I feel like if you're open to that, it's like a threat right now. You're not sure if you're gonna have a job. Right now we know it's the whole vaccination thing, and
Mm-hmm.
persons, if they are now thinking, okay, so if it is I don't get vaccinated, will I have my job? So Kenton, it is nighttime in England right now. So we have one of our young people on the inside. Yes. So person's not sure if it is they're gonna have their job, if it is they don't get vaccinated, right? So I think that is where persons are now going to feel very insecure. They're going to feel unprotected during this time. Yeah, I
Even
don't know if you
persons
will
who
agree with
don't
that.
have a job, like for instance, me, I'm applying and looking for work, and I feel a little insecure in that, okay, maybe I might get through the interview, but then when it's time to
Mm-hmm.
work, they might ask me to get a vaccination, and if my choice right now is not to be vaccinated, then how is that going to help me in the job? Will I get the job? Will I
Yeah.
not get the job? So,
Yes. Good evening, Wayland. Good evening. Right. So that is one. That's the other thing. This vaccination process has a lot of people feeling quite a bit insecure right now because they believe that, well, job opportunities, as we would have dealt with earlier on this morning on our program, where in the US and in the UK, they are now implementing where persons who are not seeking employment that they be vaccinated before they actually start working. If they want to get employed, you need to be vaccinated, right? So that is definitely job insecurity right there. Yeah. So we will go to a nice little break and then we will be right back. So Mikey could run some music and we'll come back to further discuss why your job now is insecure.
So, yes, you're listening to the effects of COVID 19 in the family, the blueprint with our host, Shamika James. We got Rihanna in the house. We got Verena in the house. And me, Mike, the man here at Radio. We don't know where Lion is. Somewhere in the background. So, guys, we're going to come back. Just a little bit of music. Invite a friend. Tell them we're talking about insecurity, alright?
Don't mean to intrude, yeah. I could tell you're shy, just give me the time to be open. Oh girl, to be open, yeah. Cause in your eyes I could tell that you want me, you know. Give me the signal, I'm gone with you, baby. Go in your mind.
Your man say he don't like me. I don't like that you just call. You think you something. He make your man follow me on IG. Motherfucker, unfollow that. No clue. But I still think about the nightly. I think about what it might be like if we link up. I know you have someone. I know, but I still wanna keep it in and keep it a secret. I know you have somebody, but I still wanna link up and keep it in touch. Let it take place. Come let it take place. Let me teach you a piece of the thing that never make you feel sweet. Let it take place. Say, okay, I want you to think about it. Think about it. I want you to think about it.
I'm thinking.
Think about it. When you're running down the road, I push back on the thing, I want you to think about it.
But there's no one other than you at all. There is no one could ever call you a fraud. Because you're better than them. You are the best overall. You're better than them. You are the best by far. You catch me flirting with an next gal, baby, me sorry. Yeah.
So we back. Good afternoon again to everybody. We back in the house.
Yes. So we have a new guest inside now.
I don't know if pets have insecurities, but
Yes, pets may actually
Yeah.
feel
this is
insecure.
Ellie.
The parrot I had this morning was real insecure, you know. Because pulling down everything and biting and everything. If only see the CEO, the parrot jump on the CEO, she was so insecure. It jump on the neck. And she's screaming outside. I had to run outside. Oh God, the parrot. Real insecure.
She ready to go.
Godfather. Yeah. So we back in the house?
Yes.
Yes, Shamika.
So we were talking about a job insecurity. Now, as we, would have mentioned in our previous shows, we would have said that one thing affects the other, right? So one thing affects the other. And when it comes to job insecurity, now if it is you are very insecure in your job, you're not sure if it is your job is secured, because you're not sure if you're going to have it in the next month, right? Because some of the establishments, they may decide to downsize because of the economy, right? So that's another thing as well. So some persons, and when it is you are sometimes too not confident in yourself, your employers may notice that. They will say, okay, this person is not confident in their capabilities. They are not performing as they are supposed to. And that is all because the person may be at that point in time not sure about themselves. They are not confident in themselves. So it now in turn affects their performance on the job. So if it is you are employed, you may lose your job because you start letting your personal insecurities affect what it is you do in the workplace. So, we have to really be mindful. If it is we do have a job, we want to make sure that we manage our stress, right? Because when we have stress, it affects our emotional well-being, and that will in turn affect the way that we perform at the job. And that in itself can affect our job security, right? So we want to really be mindful of that. Another major thing right now is insecurities in relationships, right? Whether marital, whether cohabitational, where it have common law relationships or persons in serious relationships may be planning on getting married or whatever, or just a serious, they want to move on, live, have a long life together. It is affecting insecurity in relationships is actually taking place right now. And that too could be, as I said, the result is not one thing and it's not isolated. It's not isolated at all. Everything affects the other. So right now we know some persons, we may have one parent, one person in the household working and the other may not be working. So think about the person who isn't working. Do you think that they are feeling insecure right now in their relationship, Brina? What will you say? So you have one person working and the other not working.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the person who is not working may feel a bit insecure, especially if they were the breadwinner before.
Yeah.
So they're feeling a little shaky now that they can't provide.
Yes.
And well, that is what bringing about the insecurity. Even though your partner may say it's okay, we know we're in a pandemic and I have to do my best, I have the job. You may still feel a bit insecure, wondering, okay, I wonder if she will still be faithful to me after this. Some people, their minds go on. That's the thing about insecurity. Your mind wanders all over, thinking of all kind of things, and it might not necessarily be the reality.
Exactly. So that is one. And then because of persons being insecure now in their relationships, it affects the partner will realize that they are not behaving as they used to, right? And even they may not be confident, and that will show lack of trust too in the partner. So the partner might be, whether it's a man or a woman, and we know that there are situations where persons really did leave their partner. Now that will have to do a lot with abandonment. Sometimes in persons' past relationships, they are accustomed when trouble comes, their partner leaves. Right? Some persons don't try to, stick it through or work it out or stand by them in the hard and through the storm. And right now it's kind of like a storm in a pandemic, right? So during this time, look at those who are close to you. Look at those who are there, making sure that you are taken care of. Don't forget those people. And when things back to normal, be like, whatever, you get a job, you start working, and the person who were there for you is like if they're non-existent. No, that's really ungratefulness. So I want to remember the person who stood by you during this time. I just putting that out there. Don't forget the ones who stood by you, right? So in relationships right now, recently say even during this pandemic, the divorce rate as well would have increased during this time, right? And that is something serious. Some persons, they are not accustomed to being in the same space with their husband or wife or their boyfriend or girlfriend for a very long period of time. People just feel like, yes, I could be with them 24/7 every day of the week, right? But sometimes some people, because they can't socialize, they're not going out with their friends, they're not having any other type of interaction, they feel very, stifled, right? And that stifled feeling has them feeling also insecure. So I just assume you're like, I wonder if this person will stick around me after this COVID boy because they know what it is going on in the home. Who might be quarreling because somebody eating all the food, somebody running up the light bill or the phone bill. You may have a house phone, and every time your partner making calls and the same, but we can't afford to do this right now. And then the partner not taking you on, they making all the calls, running up the light bill, running up the phone bill, and I mean, it is very, very, it is hard in relationships right now. It is
sometimes you need your space. Sometimes you need your space, and being in that environment with that person all the time, and another reason too is, a lot of people started divorce. As you said, the divorce rates went up because they never realized that their partner used to do certain things, and it started to take them to a point where they just can't take it anymore. you know, and you
Yes.
may not have realized it because you're just going to work and coming back and you have a few hours home with your partner. But when you have
What
the
about
entire day home now, is a different story.
what about
Mm-hmm.
the main thing, communication?
Well, yes,
Lack of communication.
we're going to get to that because even though, so like Verena just mentioned, the partner that is working might say, "Don't worry, I will handle it," right? But what about they communicating that, right? But to that person, they may not even be sure if they can really handle all the bills, right?
Exactly.
That's who can make the person insecure because they may have children and not sure if it is you'll be able to keep everything stable and running, right? Because they may have so many different bills and emergency may come up and they don't know, and it was really you and a partner combining the
To do
salaries,
everything.
and
Yeah.
everything was running smooth. Sometimes the combined salary would have been just making ends meet, and it's some person scraping with the combined salary. No, it is just one salary. Is rent, is mortgage, and then it's of course light bill, internet bill, phone bill,
And the
water,
grass had to cut.
and cable, and all the
All these
different
little
things. You have to
extra
buy gas.
expenses.
Yes, you have to buy gas. You have to make sure you have food in the house.
Yeah, that have a little
Right?
money to travel in case of an
Exactly.
emergency. You
And
know.
then some persons they may have vehicles and they have to pay insurance, so they're still paying off for the car. All these things. And when it is persons are in relationships and let us say they have a bad debt, it can make the situation a little bit worse, right? And they may become insecure because they're not sure if they can handle the financial constraints of the home, right? The financial responsibilities, right? So, I mean, that's why, of course, it is important to communicate and work things out and make sure that they could do it together, right? Another thing, what about children? Children now, what type of insecurities do you think children are experiencing during this time? Serena.
I do think that they would have some insecurities because let's say the parents busy, you know, studying how to make ends meet and so on, and when they come, mommy, you could play with me. Hey, I don't have time for that right now. I'm trying to focus on work and getting the money and whatever. So they don't get that interaction with you, and that could make them feel insecure about the love and affection that you have for them, right?
Yes,
So that is one aspect of it.
yes, definitely. And then, in addition to that, in terms of online learning, some children feel like they cannot cope with it. They feel like they cannot perform while online, and they require the face-to-face interaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that may have them feeling insecure, and sometimes they may even realize that they in a classroom setting, face to face, they may participate more, but online they are not really participating much because they feel like they're not sure how to maneuver everything online. They're not tech savvy. That could happen
Or they're
to
just
teachers
not
as
getting it.
well. Or
Yeah,
they're
some
just not
people,
getting it.
the screen is just like whatever, it's boring. Like I
So
can't
we
get to
saying
interact.
they could be
So, you know.
experiencing little stress also.
Yes,
of
yes.
course.
Yes. So they can become, and Verena mentioned something very important there, where it is they feel like they're not getting enough love and affection, and that in the long run can make them feel so insecure. They lack that confidence in themselves, and when we see your boy to the back, they have no lack of confidence because he's doing a headstand or something in the background
Yes. And using me to
Right?
prop him up.
Practicing for the
afternoon,
next
Miss-
Olympics. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Lewis. So Mrs. Lewis is locked on, right?
Afternoon,
So
CEO.
we must be at now when it is someone is losing, they have lack of confidence in themselves. When it is they are insecure, they feel like they have no protection when it comes to their job or their relationship, right? Even your social circle. I think even during this time now, persons are recognizing who their friends are who their family are, all these things. Who really there, who calling, checking in, these type of things, little things then. The things that go a long way. People are, paying attention to that as well. And that to me make people feel insecure because they might say, but I told this person say they will be there for me. And now, come COVID, you ain't hearing from nobody. Right? That could make somebody feel very much insecure.
Exactly. Especially if everybody who you think is your friend and nobody message. So I would say it's 5 people you're close and nobody check up on you for the whole COVID. Yeah, that will surely make you feel a type of way.
Yes. So we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we will continue the discussion on insecurity.
So as I said, we are listening to the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint, with our host, Shamika James. In the house is Lady Verena. We don't know where Rihanna gone. We don't know where Lion is. But I know I hear. So guys, we're going to be back in a short. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial.
Oh, I'm so city.
I got SPM, baby. I got SPM, no. I fais petit temps, baby. I got SPM, no. I got SPM, baby. I got SPM, no. Wap got SPM, tade. I got SPM, no. C'est genre de femme, remè l'argent bon dollar. Toujours à checker, n'est qu'à travail dans l'état. Tant y'aurait mes pouvoirs, tant y'aurait mes ça. Quatre roues motrices, vite des services de l'état. Adia, pas exigeant passé, yo pas souviré, depuis yo pas Prado. Dommage, ça yo pas c'est bouillir de l'eau. Si c'est pour manger, ou mettre check up mon resto. I got SPM, baby. I got SPM, no. I fais petit temps, baby. I got SPM.
They got burn team. They got calorie counting man.
I got SPM, no. Give me now. Give me now.
Yes.
Chérie, faut entendre. Let me see you. L'aime fait la chambre, moi fait l'anti. De 7 à 19h, son jour.
Yes. So we are back on the inside. So for those who are now looking on, the topic is insecurities. Have you felt insecure during this time? Why have you been feeling insecure? And we really gonna get through this together, this pandemic together. And so far we would have said what some of the insecurities that persons may experience is job insecurity and insecurity in their relationship, right? And another insecurity that persons experience is social insecurities. Now, with the pandemic, I realized that a lot of persons they feel like they're exposed. So they really feel exposed. And when it's time for them to get out there in the public, they actually look at people with scorn. It's like if everybody have COVID-19 and they're going to get it from them. You will see persons trying to, where it is they can social distance in the taxi, they may pick up the entire space when it could have room for another person, right? And because of this, it shows some form of insecurity into, that social, and they're not secure out there in the environment, in society. You become very scared, you become anxious, because insecurity brings about some form of fear, some form of anxiety, and some form of stress. So persons are very fearful, as we would have discussed in our first segment, that persons are fearful of getting COVID-19, right? And now persons are now fearful of even taking the vaccine, right? So that is the other thing. And because of this, persons now feel it hard. They're now thinking about there will be a divide amongst the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. So imagine you're going out there, you're wondering if you'll be able to get into a store. Or if it is your friend that you used to go down well good with, if they're going to stop talk to you because you did not take the vaccine. If a person's asking themselves these questions, asking if it is the unvaccinated can live amongst the vaccinated. And they start having fears, they start feeling anxious, they start having doubt. The thought process is really plenty. And persons who may have autoimmune diseases, persons who have cancer, they too can be feeling insecure during this time because the COVID-19 virus is a threat to them. When they are hearing about all the misinformation and so forth about the vaccines, or they're wondering if it is they will be now forced to take the vaccine, they are feeling like all their protection has been taken, it has been stripped away from them. Yeah? So everyone can experience that feeling of insecurity on so many different levels. Yes? On so many different levels.
Different times.
You wanted to... Yes. Right? So Verena, you were going to say something there in terms of the insecurity?
It slipped my mind what I was going to say. It really slipped my mind, but there's a lot of insecurity going on around now, especially in this pandemic.
Yeah.
Teachers even feel insecure if they're really capable of teaching via the online system and
platform. Yeah. Yes.
It's a very high level of insecurity taking place.
Yes, because when it is they are accustomed teaching face to face, they have a syllabus that everything running smooth. Now you have to learn how to use the online tools in order to execute and deliver to your students and make sure that your students are engaged, because the online platform is totally different than when it is you are face to face. It has so many physical aspects of it that you're missing out on. You're trying to bring that face-to-face classroom to the online platform, but sometimes that is it could be a little challenging to do, so you have to find a way around it. You could teach, but then you feel insecure. You start questioning yourself, can I really teach? Or persons who may be doing counseling, I myself is like, I wonder, because when it is in person, you might be feeling the person energy, you're getting to see all the body language. So if it is like, let's say we are sitting like this, you wouldn't be able to see if it is I'm shaking my foot because I'm nervous. So it has certain things that you may miss out on the online platform, and that can make persons feel very insecure in carrying out their duties, right? Another thing is you work from home, right? When it is persons have plenty responsibilities, it's like working at home rather than working in the office. It's challenging for some persons. Some persons prefer to work at their office rather than at home. Yeah, so it can bring about insecurities and abilities to perform the job that you do on a day-to-day basis. Yeah? So Mike, did you experience any form of insecurities during this time?
Yes and no, to be honest. Again, one of the biggest insecurity was traveling to come back home and not realizing or thinking I'm leaving a good job to come back home to do what? In the sense of not that I was scared in any way, but the little insecurity was there because you're coming back home, you have family and you have a house, you had to pay mortgage, you had to pay this, you had to pay that. How am I going to function? So in a way, yes. But one of the things I've learned over the years, Chica, is trying not to let things bother me much anymore the older I get. So I more or less, even though the issues might be there, might feel a little insecure that I can't do certain things. I try not to stress myself not too much like before. We have a tendency everything we let allow to overtake us, especially with the stress, and we get sick. So I've grown to that position in my life. Yes, it may be tough, but again, like you see, you and I, we talk, but we could do, we do. We have our son in the house, so like 3 of us in the house. So there are bills to pay, there are things to do. So I think, again, going back to what you were saying, we have to communicate. It's the most important thing. So, and as I say, designate something to each person.
Yes, you share the responsibilities. And but as we said, during this time, it has some persons who may not have been able to actually share, let's say, the financial responsibilities of the household because of loss of income. Yeah. So we're gonna go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna discuss how it is you can identify that you are actually experiencing insecurities and what it is you can do to overcome those insecurities. Yeah?
Right. So we're going to be back in a short. As I said, you're listening to the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint with our host, Shamika James. And we'll be right back, people. Let's take a little music as we go.
Yes.
Top up with Burn Team anywhere and anytime for both digital and B-Mobile. Top up yourself, a family member or friend using online banking in the comfort of your home. Just click on our WhatsApp button and say the word. For more info, visit our Facebook page. Top up with Burn Team, where it's safe, easy and convenient.
Yeah. So we back. Yeah, Shamika, over to you.
Yeah, so we're gonna now discuss how can you tell if it is you are experiencing insecurities, if it is you are feeling insecure about yourself, that you are lacking confidence. And one of the things that you will definitely experience is anxiety. When it is you are accustomed to carrying out a duty, you may find that you're experiencing, tightness of the chest. You may be feeling flustered when it is you have to do certain activities, right? And that is signs that you are feeling anxious, that you are feeling stressed, because you're lacking that confidence in yourself to carry out certain tasks. So when you're feeling that, know that you are starting to become insecure, right? Another thing that you will experience is that you will have a lot of behavioral changes, right? So when it says you may have had healthy habits, you wouldn't have those healthy habits anymore. You will find that you start to become a bit more negative or paranoid. People thinking that if it is just touch a surface, they feel unprotected, like, oh, I'm going to get germs, I'm going to become infected. Know that you are now becoming insecure. If it is you only thinking negative about your partner and saying, he or she wouldn't stick around, I ain't working right now, that is trust issues. You see, trust issues is a very, very serious thing that can cause a lot of insecurities in a relationship when it is you don't have that trust in a partner that they will stick around. They say that they will stick around, they show that they will stick with you, but yet still in the back of your mind, they are not going to stay. even though their action says otherwise.
But we have seen during this period of the pandemic that a lot of marriages have gone apart since on the
Yes.
beginning of even the UK. Domestic violence have risen high, and a lot of people, because of the stresses, and as you said, when you go have a job, the other party do have a job. The things you used to do before, you cannot really do them anymore unless you know
Yeah.
otherwise. So a lot of stresses come on both parties, even the one who is working, because
Yeah.
the days gone by when you could have put things together, you could have buy 2 pound of saltfish, a pound of sardine, wherever. Now it's like one individual, and you know, to be honest, we being real here, when you look at what's happening, the majority of people who are employed now are more females than males. I did a survey with that, and I realized that. I don't know if you noticed that, Shimika.
I didn't do a survey,
Yeah, I did a small survey.
and the thing now, when it comes to surveys like this, right? What we have to remember is that there are more women than men. So, and sometimes the industry that persons are working in, it may be more female dominated than male dominated. So that could affect the poll then. Because we know construction, you find more men would have been working construction, but construction was closed down for a certain period of time. So of course, the men who work construction would not be working. But if it is we go to the security section, you'll find that it have more men working than females work, than women working, right? So in terms of saying more women were employed and they didn't know, because think about it, KFC or the fast food outlets, they find that there are more women who work in those places, right? But then the whole fact is there are more women than men.
Yeah, that one is the major impact there.
Yeah,
There's more women than men.
Exactly.
How much
right?
it is? A million to one?
I wouldn't say 1,000,000 to 1. It's like 10
About
to 1,
7
5
to
to
1 or
1.
10 to 1, yeah.
No, I think
Yeah,
it's gone
so-
past 10. I think it's gone past 10 now.
Right? But as you were saying, the insecurity. So okay, so let us say for example, the woman is not working. She lost her job. She is in the sector where things would have closed down and the man is working. And then the man is feeling pressured and feeling tension, and he thinking about all the bills. Yes, Lion. He's saying stop right high. Right?
Thank you. I was hoping you'd come in and say something.
Yes, don't hear, he's the one, remember, so we begging up chill and coffee in the background. He's the one making sure everything running smooth and nice, making sure the ads run, and keeping it tight and doing all these things, fancy things you're seeing taking place right now. Right? So that's all chill and coffee doing. So big up your whole self.
Yeah, you can't do nothing else. Yeah.
Right? So the male partner, he will be working and the woman is at home. And as we said earlier on, before it would have been a combined, the salaries would have been combined, now it's just one salary. And it could be hard, and he could be under real pressure. And he could be thinking, this woman might find holding the household upright. What if
or maybe she probably arguing and quarreling too.
Exactly.
And that's why he feeling, oh God, well, she could leave or something. You
But
know?
look at it, the insecurity too of either the man or the woman ties in with, you might figure the sugar daddy outside there might start imploding
when you are at work.
No, well, if you not at work and you can't provide, and even
remember in the example Shamika given us, the man working and the woman home.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but anyhow you go, the insecurity could come in at any time.
Yes, and even with the man working, my example is the man working and the woman is not working. That woman too may feel insecure because then she may think that the male partner, he's thinking that, she's not really doing anything or helping provide or lending any kind of hand then,
Yeah,
right?
remember
So
people frustrated too, eh? So
yes,
she
they
might
can
be
be very
studying other
yeah, if you
things
go
and
exact, and she might be like, he might just go with somebody else during this time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes, so we're going to talk about what people can do to overcome these insecurities. Now, one of the things that's very important in any type of relationship, whether it's a working relationship, a relationship between a man and a woman, between parent and child, is trust. Now, trust takes time to build. You take time to build trust. And what you want to do is look at the facts before you. You don't want to make assumptions. When it says we're really feeling insecure about certain things, it's because we are making assumptions. We don't want to assume that a partner is going to do this. You don't want to assume that at a workplace, this is what they're going to do. You don't want that a child feeling like they should assume that mommy and daddy don't love me. Right? You see the assumptions that can put us in some very, very serious trouble. Where we start overthinking. You see, when you have time, if you have time on your hands, you start to overthink.
You have to think about everything.
Yes?
All possibilities.
All type of things, and you don't want to you see, when you reach into that overthinking mode, and what happens a lot of time when persons overthink, it leads to more negative thoughts rather than positive thoughts. Start to see most of the time. I don't know, Verena, if you will agree with that, but to me, that's what overthinking is. When you overthink, it's lean more to the negative side rather than the positive side.
Rather than the positive. Yeah, I have had a lot of times overthinking on things with my daughter and her disability. And, what will be going forward, how things going to be, school and work and all these things. And when I lie there in my bed and I just overthink it, of course, I am thinking how it is I could make things better, but most of the times, all I'm seeing is the negative things that coming at us, and things that I have to battle with. I don't really be thinking about all the positive things.
But what about being confident? What about confidence? How can we tie confidence in all of this?
Now, the thing about it is, as I was saying, trust. Even trust in yourself. If it is you don't even trust yourself to do certain things, that is a problem as well. So if it is you don't trust yourself, of course, that's lack of confidence. So what you want to do is, for persons who are unsure about their capabilities, their confidence starts to dip, for whatever reason, what you want to do is write down all the things that you are good at. Right? Make a list of all the things that you are good at and focus on those things. And the things that you think that you could work on, you can make a list of things that you think you could get better at, and work on how it is you can get better at that. Right? So let's say you have some goals that you will like, set some realistic goals and say, okay, during this time, you may not be, let us say you're not working. A lot of persons use this, would have started their own business during COVID, COVID allowed some persons to become very creative, actually. And they started to think about other ways in which it is they can get an income rather than depending on the job that they are currently in. Right? People started to become creative, started thinking, I'm good at this, and that's where thinking about your abilities. Knowing your abilities is very, very important, right?
Taking time to get to know yourself, yes.
Yes. Right? So when you'll be able to list
do some soul
the things
searching.
List the things that you are good at. Like you really know you're good at. And don't put doubt and I ain't really good at. No. I am good at this. Everybody is good at something. And use that. And when it comes to relationships, what it is you want to do is look, as I just said earlier, pay attention to the persons who stick around you during the hard times. Right? Remember the persons that stick with you during the hard times. And once it is, so even though you may be feeling insecure in that situation, know that, okay, this person, when it is something I need, even if I ain't say nothing, that person is there. That person is always have my back. That person always looking out for me. Remember that. Not the ones who come with fake smiles and say, I will be there for you. And then when it is, they really need to be there for you, they are not there for you. Right? So what you want to do is, don't assume. I will say, do not make assumptions. Don't make assumptions.
Correct.
And know the things that you are good at. And if it is you want to set some goals and you want to improve your skill or set, write down the things that you would like to improve on and work on them. Because another thing that persons would have experienced, now Verena would have mentioned, persons being insecure when it comes to their body. Right? And ideal weight and so forth. Yes, when we spoke about health, right, there is an ideal weight for the physical health. There are the markers that will indicate that you are a healthy individual. And some persons, they would have used this time to work on that because they realize that they don't feel confident about their body image. And they want to work on that, so they will work on it during this time. So that's another thing you can do, right? So just plugging in, you can contact us as Basic Unconventional Raw Nutrition. We have that every coaching program where it says you will get aerobics. So when saying aerobics, tomorrow we have Sweaty Sunday. We'll be having a very interesting workout. So if anyone is joining us, you have a 5-pound dumbbells at home, or you have 2-liter bottles of water, 2-liter bottles, just fill them right up with water. Verena, don't give me a half fill. I will be checking the bottles before we go on.
It's full. Don't worry, the full.
Right? We will be having a very interesting workout. So in order to do things that will make you feel good about yourself, things that will boost your confidence. If you know you don't like how you're looking physically and you're maybe overweight, obese, and you want to become a healthier individual, right now persons are very insecure. They're feeling like, okay, if I take this vaccine, I'm so healthy, this thing will really affect me. Start working on your health because you're feeling insecure about it. Work on it. And acknowledge, be self-aware and acknowledge, these are my weaknesses, these are the things that I need to work on. And I think that will go a long way.
If there's one thing this pandemic teaching us, is how to work on ourselves, That's a good takeaway from the whole pandemic. It's like the whole world it gets still and it's like, hey, focus on you. What do you want? What do you want to see? What's the change? Reset. Yeah. We getting a full reset and just take advantage of that reset,
And the people who couldn't cook before, now learn to cook.
Well, that's a good thing, because if you was insecure, you would have killed people when you cook. Now you could practice so you wouldn't kill nobody.
Think it easy.
Well, some persons don't like cooking. Some persons could cook, but they just choose not to. Or for whatever reason, they never, cook much. But when food places close and all these things, they started out some creativity steps in. So for all the creators, it had a lot of people who was kind of glad it have this fun. It have some persons that would have prospered during the pandemic, while some persons were suffering and frustrated. Some persons try to see the good out of it and build themselves, open businesses,
could you remember, creative. Could you remember when it started and everybody had to be home? Everybody was glad to do something live online. In the kitchen cooking and doing this, so showing off. All of a sudden, that's done.
You know how long I wanted to learn to make doubles? Every time I buy doubles, I say, I could make this thing, I could make this thing. If I only take my time and I go and I do a recipe, I could make it. And because of the pandemic, I finally make my doubles. I am not buying any doubles again.
No, you're not seeing nobody showing off the skills. Everybody just back to normal.
Yeah. People were trying to try new things. Yes, it had people try. They say, well, I will try to do this. And, they're learning to make new things. Right? And that people need to be very careful. When they see all they try and they make this and that, please really share. Don't keep all for yourself, because what's going to happen, we see a lot of persons gain a lot of weight during the pandemic, right? A lot of persons gain a lot of weight during the pandemic. And we want to always make sure that we keep physically healthy, emotionally healthy. We want to be healthy overall, right? That's what we want. We want to really be healthy overall. We want to be able to have, our mindset as well. We want a positive mindset. So, as I said, insecurities is when you see the doubt and the fears. It affects your performance all round. It affects your relationships. Whatever relationships you have, it affects it. So let us be mindful. Let us be self-aware of what is affecting us. Let us be self-aware of our thinking. People, let's have some more positive thoughts rather than negative ones. And if you see information, try to get correct information from the right sources. Because that too, when it says you don't get the correct and you start feeling insecure, it have people are questioning doctors. Sometimes person may have a trust in it. Now some persons don't even trust persons in government.
Health professionals or the government. Yeah.
Let's say good evening to. Yeah, let's say good evening to a lady. I seen a lady come on there. I don't think I ever see her on. Listra Jardine.
Why I never see her on? That is not right. Good afternoon, Mom Listra. That is Shirley and Coffee's mom.
I don't know. I know your mom. First time I seen her.
No, she's not a first timer.
No, but first time I seen her. I never see her before. I saw your mom. Your mom. So good afternoon to Miss Coffee. We become aware of our diet. You ain't seen the name there. We become aware of our diet, also keeping yourself fit and more prayerful. But the question is, how many people, that's a good one, but again, we go down to the insecurity, the stresses of life and what's going on. How many people find that time to do what Miss Listra is saying?
Well, it's not about finding time, it's making time. So a lot of time persons may say, I don't have time to do this, so I don't have time to do that. If it's important to you, you will set aside time to make it a priority. Right? Because sometimes when people think that they need a whole 2 hours to get in an exercise, they don't need 2 hours. It could simply be 15 minutes. 15 minutes isn't long. It could be 15 minutes every morning.
When you go to bed, you do some squats in the bathroom. I remember when I was now trying back to exercise and think that's what I would do when I go to the bathroom. I'll be like, I have some time in here. Let me do some squats and then bed. So, you can just find it anywhere.
Exactly. Instead of taking a car, the grocery right around the corner. You want to jump in a car to go to the grocery and then to go back home. When you can walk.
The funny thing.
Exactly. You can walk.
The funny
thing. And you need $10 to buy something else.
Yeah. But the funny thing, that's so strange. What you saying there? I mean, when I was in Manchester, I never used to take bus just to go to the grocery. I used to walk. Sometimes I'll walk halfway to work and then jump on a bus just to exercise. Or even when I'm coming home, I would walk all the way to home just to exercise.
When I was working Port of Spain, I used to do that. I would walk I was working uptown Port of Spain, so I'll walk from uptown to downtown and then travel home. Yeah.
Walking is good.
And that's a nice exercise.
That's why you find I look so sexy. My abs. Well, I take a little tease on. Just remember, I take a little tease on. That's why at me, when you look at me, people don't believe my age, because I always tell them, again, we go back to the fact of insecurity and the stress of life. I try to live in the sense of keeping my mind at ease. So you find what I will do, whatever is happening around me, I tend to meditate, as Ms. Lisha said, prayer time. So I meditate. I will find some time for meditate for 10 minutes. Just to be in a circle, block off everything, and go again.
Right.
But how many of us today, Shamika, will have that time to do it? Because everybody's studying.
Mike,
when the next plate of food coming, where this coming from?
It's not that. And it could, like right now, persons, they already have nowhere to go, eh? But if it is you are home, you can find time. If it is you are traveling in a car or a maxi, you can meditate right there. It is, you can take that time to be, you can pray in that moment. You don't need to have a special place or a special time to pray.
But
it's
about
like
self-control too.
Yeah, and
it's about that control.
Yeah,
control of your mind and your thoughts.
Exactly.
That's
when
it,
it is
the
you want
mind
to
and your
talk,
thoughts.
yeah. So when it is people talk about praying, it don't mean that you need to have a special place and a special time. It is not mandatory to have a special place and time. Yes, there are times persons may set aside. They say, okay, this time in the morning, I'm going to set aside 1 hour. Some persons talk about their hour of prayer, and they may set aside the time. They may set aside that time. That may not be everyone's style. So I said it might be on the way to work. You have a moment where it is you meditate, where it is you have positive thoughts, where it is you connect, right? So
Connect with your inner being. Yes.
Right. So there's no special time. So what I will say is, persons find something, even exercise. We always say exercise. It really helps de-stress. So you all can join us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to de-stress.
De-stress. Clear your mind.
During the week. Yes.
Work out the insecurities.
Work it out. Right?
But our next activity they could do too is write down your insecurity, whatever it may be. And then write down what is the worst that you think would happen. And then write down what you actually think is going to happen. So the worst is, you might think, oh gosh, if I don't take the vaccine, I'm going to lose my job. But what is actually going to happen? Your job is not going to fire you because you have a contract or you've been there how much ever years or whatever. So they wouldn't outright fire you like that. So, you write down what it is you think will actually happen. Maybe they will try to convince you to take the vaccine over a period of time, or you may have to do the tests. I can't remember what they call it.
PCR.
The PCR test, yeah. You may have to do that a little more often, So that's what will actually happen. So that will help eliminate your insecurity as well.
I think the fact that's important what you say. Besides the vaccine, some people might be reserved taking the PCR test over a period of time because of the injection, the fear, as we say, Shamika. So doing the PCR test, but the thing is, you have to be paying for it all the time unless you're getting it free.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you have to pay for it. Yes. That's the
but
thing.
some places, I think you see, if the government make it that way, make it easier for the people who didn't want to take the needle, but will take the PCR test every other quarter or so, free. Because, at the end of the day, they may resolve for that. Make it easier.
We will have another discussion.
Yeah.
At another point in time, concerning that what I just said there. So in closing, Verena, what will be your closing remark for the people? What will be your takeaway?
Take some time and invest in your mental health. Right? Invest in your mental health and invest in your family. Right? That way, when you invest that time and you communicate, you'll make decisions together, because it's not I have to make the decision on my own kind of situation. It's everybody working together. And that could help release some of the insecurities that you may feel. So work together as a family. Yeah.
Totally agree.
That's my
totally agree. It's all about just communication with everybody, whether husband, wife, common law, And if there's children in the home, sit down with your children, like how we used to do before, have a family talk, let everybody know where you at now, what you can do. And I think in a way of building the confidence in the children too, and giving them that sense of value when it comes to what's happening in life today. So the big word here, guys, is communication.
Communication.
I do not know who Sri Lanka is calling past today. Right? So I will say
Nah, you talking to your mom. You talking to your mom. Talking to your mom.
So what I want persons to remember is that don't make assumptions and try to always have a positive mindset. Acknowledge your strengths. Also acknowledge your weaknesses. Identify the things that you need to work on and become a better you. Right? Make sure that the social network that you have, those that you are very close to, don't promise that you're going to be there for someone and then you leave them hanging. That will add to their insecurity.
Yeah.
So once it is you say you are going to be there, be there.
Yeah. Well said.
Right? Be there. So I want to thank everyone for locking on this evening. We want to thank everyone for their valuable contribution. And we want to say a special thank you for, our tech. When it's this time, we calling him our tech guy, Chill and Coffee, for ensuring that everything runs nice and smooth for all the nice graphics and pictures and videos and everything that runs. We thank you, and you all have a very safe and enjoyable rest of the weekend and work week ahead. And don't forget, you can join us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for Sweaty Sunday. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Verena. Thank you, Mike. And everyone that joined us, Shizan and Riri, for your contributions.
Let me say good night. It's now about 11:30 in London to my boy Richard, who always listening when we're doing our stuff. So good night to you, Richard. I know you're sending me messages there. And to everybody who was on, very interested topic again, insecurities, the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint with our host, Shamika James. Guys, have a good one. Just remember, I'll be back about 8:30 tonight. Strictly soca, all total local. So like join me later. Verena, I can bring everybody if you want in your house. All right, be gone.
All right.
Hey, it's your girl Chica J. And Burn Team TV is where we bring the vibes.
Burn Team TV is about merging online lives with basic unconventional raw nutrition services, giving it a TV effect while streaming live.